The Ignis Wraith is one of those weapons that once you get them, you will rarely need something else. This weapon becomes your best friend at Mastery Rank 9 when you can finally use it, and it will stick with you for a really long time. In fact, even if I'm rarely using it nowadays, it still stays my most used primary weapon 9 mastery ranks after. It works extremely nice in normal star chart, but with the right build, it can gather its way into steel path content too. Obtaining this weapon is kinda interesting. There are multiple ways, right? Starting from the Railjack missions inside the Veil Proxima zone. You go in any Grineer mission there, find the cache that you can luckily see once you level up your piloting intrinsics to level 5, finish the mission and hope to get it with a nearly 9% of chance. Or you can do it like any other sane person who got this weapon and get invited in a clan rank 10 or above with the blueprint already researched in the chem lab. Trust me, this last way is far better than the awful Railjack experience to even unlock the Veil Proxima. And I don't even want to talk about the other way since they're event-based. And don't worry, because this should be an easy task, as most times the Warframe community is nice. The Ignis Wraith is like an extremely interesting weapon. Like by itself, it may seem kinda dumb, right? It is a flamethrower, like what can you expect from a flamethrower? Actually a lot of stuff. Like the way it works, like its shooting system is extremely interesting, and now I'll show you why. I'll do it obviously with a like completely blank build, okay? First things first, the damage it does increases over time, but in less than 1 second it reaches like its peak damage. In fact, we can see if I shoot this and maybe damage them. Okay, see? 1 damage, 3 with crit. If I keep on going, it becomes 5, 8, 21, 15, 13. It is kinda hard to read all of them, but you can notice the difference, right? As you can see, like it has 27 meters of range, right? It can reach the EV Gunner. I've got 26 meters right there. Another interesting thing though, is that once it reaches those 27 meters, or more if you have mods that make it higher, it kinda explodes. Like I'm not kidding. It basically has a blast. I mean, I can even shoot there on the ground and it should work, right? Yeah, see? I got them both. Because like this weapon, other than having a pretty wide beam range, at the end of its beam, it basically explodes, so I can even shoot there to the ground and I will still get those people. The beam explosion, I've checked on the wiki, is 3 meters, so it is not that wide, but it is extremely interesting as a mechanic. Wanna know why? Because if we put Firestorm, luckily I remember the name, we put this mod that increases the blast range, instead of 3 meters it will be way more, so we'll get more enemies. And obviously, like, keep in mind this is the simulacrum, this ain't a real mission, so there's a really big difference between how useful and useless the mod can seem. In the simulacrum it doesn't seem really nice, because like there's just a few people, right? I get 4 enemies, oh my god, wow. But in the main missions there will be way more, especially at high levels, so like it does make a difference. The same goes with another mod that I've seen a lot of people using their builds, Combustion Beam, Enemy Explode. That's the same thing, right? That's another mod that works extremely nice. The more people you get, the more people you kill, the more you will kill, especially in the star chart map, which makes those two mods, extremely good. The problem with these mods is, and the reason why you won't see any of them in my actual builds, is because sure, at low levels they may be nice, but first things first, I always say it in my videos, I'm a lazy ass, so I wanna change the build as less as possible throughout my playthroughs, so I don't wanna put a mod that I need to change later on, or even like, I'm not kidding, I don't even want to use like these mod config slots. I don't care, I have the first one and the first one should be, with some exceptions. Having said that, we're not done with the interesting facts about the Ignis Wraith. It has infinite body punch through, so no matter how many enemies are stacked, they will all get attacked, as long as the beam range is there. Another extremely, that's nice but even important tip, is that this weapon, even though it is a flamethrower, can actually do headshots, and the headshot multiplier is quite high. And I can assure you, with the build zone, it deals a shit ton of damage. And I'll show you, like, that's not a problem. But first, I'll show you, like, without any mods at all, so you can see the difference. You see the damage, like 6, 10, when you crit it is around 30. If we start aiming to the head, 170, it is kind of hard doing it while I'm talking, sorry. But you can see numbers, 130 as a normal damage, 190 as a crit. If we go back there, 13, 30. Like, the headshot multiplier on this weapon is freaking crazy. Another really great tip for lazy asses like me is using this weapon in sabotage missions. Look at this, right? We should have to shoot to every reactor core, and there's even the... I think it was the Grenier map, in which it is even more annoying. When you get the Ignis Wraith, you literally just go spray and pray and call it a day and run away to the extraction. This is the Grenier sabotage I was talking about. Like, you got a lot of places to shoot, you just go pew. They stole my weapon. Okay, I was saying you just go pew and destroy all of them, pew and destroy all of them, and you're good. Now we can get onto the builds, but before doing it, I'd love to tell you like this weapon's weakest point. The problem is, this weapon needs a shit ton of formas. When it comes to the endgame build, we start with Galvanized Chamber to get as much multi-shot as possible, followed by Galvanized Aptitude to highen up our stat chance, since we need to proc as many status as we can. After those two, Critical Delay to get some good critical chance up, followed by Vital Sense to get more critical damage, and Val Acceleration to make up for the lost fire rate. To get back and increase the overall damage, we'll put Serration. And last but not least, 2 elemental and status mods that you prefer based on the faction you're fighting against. I use Rime Rounds and Malignant Force cause I'm a lazy ass and Viral works fine overall. A good Exilus mod would be Sinister Reach, but it ain't that important. And for Arcanes, Primary Merciless to stack damage and get some always appreciated reload speed. Okay, now let's go into the Simulacrum to show you how strong the endgame build is. Steel Path, obviously. As you may remember, there's a big difference between headshots and non-headshots on this weapon, so I'll show you how both of them works. Obviously, like the normal shooting, like just like this, is what I would always advise people to see for in builds, because in actual games, going for always headshot is kind of impossible. That's my point of view. Unless you really try, you will not get that many headshots. Even starting out, it ain't that bad. We're against 120 level of EV Gunner, Steel Path, keep in mind. I'm not doing any headshot at all. It takes a while, obviously, but then we start stacking stuff. So now let's kill some of them at the same time, which is even what you would normally do, to be fair, in a mission. Let's finish stacking Galvanized Aptitude. Luckily, I do not have the Arcane installed in this one, otherwise we would have even more damage. And now you can see damage. Let's take a pristine EV Gunner. Now you can see it goes way faster, right? Obviously, like, this weapon ain't the best for endgame Steel Path content, but we make it works nonetheless. If we go for a headshot, this thing melts down enemies. Like, look how freaking strong it is. The headshot multiplier compared with the mod crits is like doing God's work. I don't know, it is freaking melting everything. As I've said though, like, let's be honest, it ain't gonna happen that much frequently in normal games, so keep this damage as an actual test. When it comes to the new player build, we start with a lot of multi-shot through split chambers and vigilante armaments. After those two, critical delay to get some good critical chance up, followed by vital sense to get more critical damage, and vile acceleration to make up for the lost fire rate. To get back and increase the overall damage, we'll put serration. Last, but not least, 2 elemental mods that you prefer based on the faction you're fighting against. I used cryo rounds and infected clip cause I'm a lazy ass and viral works fine overall. When it comes to mod substitutions, if you don't have critical delay, you can use point strike instead. And if you're missing Val Acceleration, you can use Speed Trigger. If you use this weapon only on low-level Star Chart enemies, you could think of substituting Vigilante Armament with Firestorm or Combustion Beam if you like them more. Okay, time to show you the new player's build. I'll first show it to you against non-Steel Path enemies, even though level 120 is kinda not realistic, but it is fine. First things first, obviously, we go with the body shots. See how quickly they die with body shots. Keep in mind those are heavy gunners, they have a shit ton of armor. With this build there's nothing to stack, as it tends to be like with new players build, there's no galvanized aptitude, I do not even think you got arcanes in it, so like, it is fine. If we go with headshots, they melt even faster, as we said. The headshot multiplier works on this weapon. Obviously, do not take these like as a final test, I always suggest taking these body shots as the actual tests. As you can see though, the build works pretty finely, like, they die pretty easily. Level 120 non-Steel Path. Now let's go kill all of them, take another 20 V Gunner and make them Steel Path. you'll see even though this build ain't as strong as the endgame one, it still works somehow. Obviously we'll start with the body shots. This is gonna take a little longer. Like, there's nothing you can do about it. The Ignis Wraith is a real good, like, star chart weapon. We're just finding ways to carry it over to Steel Path, okay? It shouldn't be a thing. The headshot, we'll see the headshot multiplier will freaking melt the CV Gunner, no matter what, Steel Path or not Steel Path. Problem is, it is kinda unreliable as a source of damage, so, like, once again, this is how much time it takes. Obviously, in the missions, like, you're moving, you're not standing still, you've got the beam at the end of, the explosion at the end of the beam and whatever, like, it is pretty good enough, I'd say, with this build. Even substituting Vile Acceleration and Critical Delay with, like, their counterparts, it still works pretty nicely. Obviously, it is a little bit weaker, it requires a little bit more time, depends how many times this status goes on, obviously. But, like, it still works against Steel Path enemies. The headshot is still strong as fuck, like, it melts them. So, like, this weapon is good enough. I would 100% get it at Mastery Rank 9, and unluckily use all the formats that you need instantly. Like, you need formats both for the new players build and the endgame build, but like, once you have it, you can pretty much use it for a really long time. As I said in the intro, like, I still have it as my most used weapon, even though I didn't use it for a long time now. It is just strong, what can I say? Especially in normal missions, like, it melts everything. What can you do, right?